Hello everyone, I'm Master K here. Special episode of Life Empowerment with Accent. Today I'm in Hong Kong with a special guest, Master Kerby Kuek or Sifu Kerby Kuek. And a full disclosure here, Master Kerby Kuek is my younger brother, and we have an honor to talk to him about Daoism and maybe a little bit about Feng Shui too. I'm excited for this program, and we're going to have a special discussion with Sifu Kerby Kuek. And the first question is, what is Tao and why should I care? And I'd like to pass this question to Master Kerby Kuek. Master Kerby Kuek, what is the Tao and why should I care about Tao?
Well, Tao is in accordance to Eastern philosophy, is Tao create this universe, okay, and Tao is everything, okay, and the core of the Tao, in simple terms, is a yin and a yang, live balancedly and harmoniously in this world, okay, in this nature. We have so-called this heaven, but it's not the so-called religious heaven, it's cosmic, okay? And we have earth, and in between is human, okay? So we live in between as a human, we must live according to the nature, okay? For instance, the sun rays from the east and set in the west, okay? It created a trust, okay? What does that mean, okay? The sun will not come out from the west and set on the east. This will create a chaotic state, okay? So when the trust created by the Mother Earth, by this so-called Tao, and we human beings live in between this cosmic and earth, we must also live accordance to the nature of the trust, okay? For instance, okay, if we destroy Mother Nature, okay, we exploit the Mother Nature, at the end of the day, it will boil down to harm towards human beings, okay? So at the certain interest of people, but the expense of the whole world, okay? In simple terms, this is what Tao, okay? Another way to explain Tao is that it's the underlying nature that we must also follow, okay? Besides the analogy that I mentioned just now, okay? For instance, okay, when we in the early morning, okay, we wake up, okay, and at night the sunset, we go to rest. Okay, this is part of Tao. I hope that your audience will understand.
So basically, Tao is trusting the nature and also abide by the nature. Is that correct?
That's correct. Okay, that's precisely the point I'm trying to bring. But more to it, okay, I like to use more scientific method by the Western. You know, in the early 1900, we know that molecules composed of atoms. And at that point in time, okay, physicians, scientists ensure that the smallest particle is atom. With Einstein's theory of relativity and the expert of the atoms, therefore atomic bomb created, okay? Later on they found that atom is not the smallest particle. Inside atom we have nuclear, we have proton, electron, etc. Then you see nuclear power created, and then later on hydrogen bomb created. You see the pattern here: molecule, atoms, nuclear, hydrogen. The smaller it gets, the more powerful it becomes. Okay, so where does it leads you to? Okay, now this Chinese believe that all this leads to Tao. Okay, or Buddhism call it nothingness. Okay, or emptiness. Okay, so all source of energy actually come from Tao. All source of energy actually come from nothingness or emptiness. Okay, so this is Tao. This is where we come from, and therefore we must also cultivate ourselves go back to Daoism. Along the way, we must practice, like I say, by to nature, okay, trusting the nature, etc., etc.
So Daoism is also there's a scientific aspect of it,
Right.
in Dao. Okay, great. And let's move on to second question. So the second question is, what is Wu Wei, the Daoist principle?
Okay, this pretty much in the Western world, a lot of philosophers or influencers talk about Wu Wei, okay, and in simple terms means doing nothing or inaction. But when we study Daoism, it doesn't mean that we do not do anything, okay. We must know the depth and breadth about this concept, okay. I like to use an example of tools. Inside a toolbox, okay, when you have a hammer, then you see all problems are nails, okay. But along the way, along the cultivation, along the learning process, we must accumulate knowledge, we must accumulate our wisdom, meaning that we must accumulate different tools, so that our box of tools consists of more variety of different type of tools, okay. Now when you collect all the tools, then you see things differently, okay. You don't see all things happen or all issue become one like nail, okay. When you have this kind of wisdom, this kind of tools, then you see things differently, okay. Sometimes when you need to solve problem, you don't even need to use any tool at all. The reason is that the things will solve by itself, okay, and the nature will take care of it. This is called Wu Wei, okay. Now Wu Wei, inside Wu Wei, okay, we have three other words that seldom been used, okay. Wu Wei, Wu Bu Wei. That means that inaction through action or action through inaction, okay. So sometimes you must let the things flow by itself, let it settle, then things become much more effective, okay. I'll give you one example. When a couple quarrel, okay, normally when we quarrel at the hip at the moment, the first thing that come out from mouth, when you react to it, you're gonna get worse that relationship. So once the word come out, okay, you do nothing, okay. You let the second word come out, you do nothing. When the third word come out, then you digest it, and react to it. That will probably make the situation much more calm down, and the situation will become better. Okay. So the first two reaction, that is called Wu Wei. Okay. If you argue, you keep on argue, and the mouth, the word keep on throwing at each other, that doesn't help to solve the problem. This is one example. Okay, one example.
So Wu Wei doesn't mean inaction. Actually, Wu Wei is trying to accumulate knowledge, possibly experience, and in that knowledge and experience, you can see things more in a better light, or with a different aspect of things. So sometimes with that knowledge, you probably don't have to act or react, and sometimes with that knowledge, you can also probably act very minimally.
Precisely.
And then also probably don't have to act. So that is the concept of Wu Wei, is actually to gain more knowledge and to see things differently. Am I right?
Correct.
You know. Okay, great. And the third question on Daoism is, why is a person's relationship with nature so important in Taoism? Why is a person's relationship so important in Taoism? The relationship with nature.
Well, like I say, you see, the earth and the cosmic is selflessness. Okay. Before this, we talk about the trust that given to us. Okay. So once the nature act according to its principle, if we do not follow the principle of the earth, then we violate the principle, okay? We deviate from the path, okay? So-called the Tao. And if we do not do that, okay, then the relationship that we involve in might be in equilibrium state. So that's why it's important that we must live according to the nature of Tao, and relationship, for the matter of relationship, is much more important too, because in this world we interact with each other. Okay, we do not live alone. Okay, we have friends, we have relatives, we have boss, we have subordinates. We need to act in accordance to Tao in order to create so-called the desired outcome.
All right. In other words, that means Tao is trying to create a certain balance, a certain equilibrium.
Right.
And so to maintain the equilibrium and balance, there's certain principle to follow.
Right.
And certain principle to adhere to in order to become more successful too, in a way.
Precisely.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. So the next question is, how can Daoism help me?
Okay, you see, fish in the water, okay? When fish in the water, water is Tao. But fish doesn't know that he or she lives in the water, okay? Like us too, and then we live in a Tao with an environment without us realizing it, okay? Like I say, we must giving trust, live according to the principle of Tao, and by means of following the time cycle, by means of living our life in balance, okay? Certain things like relationship, when you argue, you must also know when to stop, know when to talk, know when to protect yourself or protect others, okay? Take care of other people's feelings, because this is Tao, okay? This is part of Tao too. Okay? For instance, when we were young, we were teaching a value of respect. We were teaching value of filial piety, okay? Respect to parents, respect to others, respect to self, okay? And righteousness, okay? We need to practice trust, righteousness, okay? To create the environment that is harmoniously with each other. Okay? There are certain values and principles of Daoism similar to Confucianism too. Okay?
So in other words, as related to question previously, how relationship with nature, so Daoism is to kind of, why is that? Is there's an action, there's a reaction,
Correct.
right? And also how to kind of make it into a proper equilibrium and balance by certain principles they follow, and also certain maybe what do you call etiquette in Daoism, like filial piety towards the elders and parents, and also certain etiquette in traditional Daoism method too. All right, so that is also how it helps each individual in certain process of things in the natural world. Okay, and the next question, the fifth question, Daoism concept, can stillness and softness be strength? All right, can stillness and softness be strength in Daoism?
Okay, this is a very good example of water. Okay, when water can become your friends. Okay, we can utilize water, but at the same time, water can be harmful too. Okay, like flood, like hurricane disaster. Okay, so in other words, that water can be soft, but at the same time, it becomes strength. Okay. Now, talking about stillness, stillness is a very important concept in Chinese Daoism meditation. Okay, when stillness, when you come to the state of, when you come to meditation, stillness is what we need. Okay, we need to create a certain energy. Okay, when you meditate, the energy comes from stillness. Okay, the energy comes from doing nothing. Okay, This is a scientific finding in meditation. Found out that once we meditate or stillness, for 48 minutes, then our body cells start to reproduce new cells. The new cells, we call it karmic free cell. That's why stillness creates strength. Another ways.
All right. So basically, the stillness and the softness is a principle of Tao that helps you to probably find the answers within you,
Right.
and also probably to make you a certain awakening, a certain realization about nature and about life itself. Am I right?
Yeah, that's correct. Right.
All right. So, so there's 5 questions that I forwarded to Sifu Kerby Kuek here, and I hope it helps you for the basic understanding and basic introduction to Daoism. So there's a few principles you can learn, and hopefully it gives you a little bit more interest and awareness to learn more about Daoism and to discover Daoism that eventually can give you a better quality of life and helps you with your everyday tasks or everyday life happenings or activities. All right, and I'd like to thank you, Master Kerby Kuek here, for his time and his generosity and his knowledge. Thank you, Master Kerby Kuek.
Shop and travel with purpose. Support our mission to empower lives at no extra cost. As Amazon affiliates and partners with top travel brands like Expedia, Cruisesit, Hotels.com, and more, your purchases help us make a difference. Whether you're shopping or planning your next getaway, we've got you covered. Explore more. www.lifeempowermentwithaccent.com. Thank you for being part of this empowering journey.
Thank you for watching. See you at the next episode. My accent, your accent. Life empowerment with accent. I'm Master K. Love, peace, happiness.